Hello everybody, welcome to day 5 of the stream of the daily challenge for February. I am really rested today. Yesterday was a little bit lack of sleep, which is inspiring because today's topic is about sleep. So we're gonna jump into that in a second, but just wanted to say hi to people that are in the chat. Hi to Jesse. I slept a little bit more. How many hours did you sleep? And what's appropriate sleep for you? Everyone's a little different, right? Bots don't sleep. Oh man, Tim. And Jack, it is, not only is it already Friday, but it's already 12 o'clock almost. So yeah, at least get 7 hours, says Paco. I typically sleep about 6, so I need to step that up. All right, so I'm really thrilled to see all the submissions from the previous days in our Discord channel. We'll take a look at that in a second. But I just wanted to reiterate where you get these challenges and how to be a part of the community. The first thing you just gotta do is go to Behance challenge /XD. This is where you're gonna find your daily challenges. I'm sure if you have already been doing this, you already know. But if you're doing this for the first time, this is where you're gonna go, sign in, get a new challenge each day, join the community on Discord, and in the chat channel when you're watching the stream, because it's a whole different ecosystem there too. It carries over the conversation into Discord. And then daily, you have our tiles here for each challenge. So you can go back and start, look at what I've the lesson plans from the day before, but you can also then jump into today's challenge. So let's go ahead and get started. And download the file. And once you download that file, you'll have this. You'll have what I have, which is really great. So you have this as a resource. You can refer back to it. There's some links on there I want to show you. But also, I'm updating my Behance every challenge after the end of the day. So you can find yesterday's challenge here. And I'll clean this up a little bit more when it's like finalized, but just wanted to have a place to show where the projects I'm posting and where I'm sharing them. So that's there for you as a resource. Also, Discord. So come on into Discord, get some feedback. Been kind of trying to give as much feedback in here as possible. And I will make time this time at the end of the broadcast to review a few of the projects that I found to be like really just really innovative and pushing the challenges, because I'm just really pleased to see all these submissions. This is what it's for. So if you're in the chat, to tell us how much hours of sleep do you get a day, and would you like to sleep more? I mean, I think all of us would, but at the same time, we don't really want to. It's one of those weird things that we're proud of when we're like not really sleeping great. It's like, hey, I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. I think the college days are over. But for sure, this is where you're gonna get all of your information for the challenge. So just wanna go over this really quickly and what we're doing. So we're designing a sleep competition app. So the idea is any kind of competition that you could think of. So it doesn't necessarily have to be sleep. I'm doing sleep because I feel that there's something about sleep that I'm only gonna push myself to be better at sleeping, but a lot of times a challenge is all I need. So being able to like say, hey, would you compete with me if I slept like 8 hours a day for the next week? And you just kind of bet people. I think that's kind of like a cool way to try to trigger a new behavior to be more mindful of what you're doing and what you want to achieve with your sleep goals. And then we're gonna try taking a look at Stark to see the legibility at the end. And just some inspiration. So I was essentially thinking of the Apple Watch challenge, which is a great way to motivate you to stay fit, but then kind of matching that to some of the ideas of sleep watching and like trackers. So things that I want to keep in mind are consistency and affordances. These are just really great tips for interaction design, so keeping an eye on those too. So I'm gonna jump right into this project. I got my interaction plan, and I am ready to jam. So we're working off of a 44 millimeter Apple Watch. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make the back, I'm gonna make it, I don't usually like to use black. I try to do like 1 or maybe even 2. So like kind of like a little bit less than black. Actually, let me do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And then what we're gonna do is just kind of start rocking with the title. So I have some, I'm using a font specifically that is SF rounded. So you can use that if you like. Take your own liberty at what you want to be doing with that. I created a header already, and I'm calling this concept sleepage. Actually, I'm gonna change this to just black. So sleepage, kind of like sleep age, I don't know. Just really wanted to name your thing whatever you'd like. And then I really like the way that Apple does the rings for the challenges. So I'm gonna create a rectangle, because I do like using rectangles over circles, because you can then change these later. So you can change them to circles. You can't change a circle to a square. I've said that before. So I'm gonna go ahead and just like create like a really cool image that is kind of evident when you open your watch. Sometimes it's abstract, so I'm gonna try to make this a little less abstract. So I'm gonna start with a circle here, and I'm gonna make it gray. And what I wanna do is, I'm gonna create some like cool little waves. So I'm gonna get a rectangle and just kind of draw it here. And the purpose of this is to kind of be a like little wave. So I think this is like the most active state of sleep actually is like restless sleep, which is kind of weird. But you know, a lot of times that's where we start at. So I want to take this and just kind of like draw, like thinking of like this being the time of day you're sleeping, and like when you're in restless sleep. A lot of times at the beginning, kind of tails off later, and then you get like a little bit more, and then maybe even like right here is when you start entering like deep sleep and REM, and then maybe like it kind of picks back up a little bit, and then I don't know, something like that. So this is going to be just a really simple graph, and I'll show you how this is going to play into Auto-Animate. So I'm going to just curve out these to give it a little bit more just aesthetics. I'm not going to get too detailed into like the way they're shaped. I know it might not look like anything now, but it'll come together. So let's get into our next shape. So I'm just going to draw another rectangle, and this one is going to be for our REM sleep. So that's going to be like a purple. And this is, we do sleep, people sleep a lot of different, like the ratings on how much REM you get is kind of different for everybody. And if you've kind of looked into like what REM is and why it's important, this is like when your memory is kind of consolidating. So it's really important for you to get into a REM. Although there have been some studies that show that a little bit too much REM might cause depression, which is another interesting aspect. So sleep is like the Swiss Army knife of mental health. If you can achieve sleep, you're just gonna be like a happier, just a better person, I believe. But you know, I've heard like The Rock only sleeps like 4 hours a day, which is, oh man, I don't even know how I could live. And then we're gonna do one more rectangle here, and this one's gonna be like the deep sleep. So deep sleep and REM sleep sometimes mirror each other depending on the person, but sometimes they don't. And a lot of times we don't achieve REM sleep until our deep sleep until like later in the night. So I'm just gonna bring this down and like take it up here, and like maybe you don't get there too early, and then it kind of maps like right after REM. So then you're like up here. Yeah, so just kind of like, just make these curves, make them nice and pretty. This one, right there. Okay, so this is looking like nothing, but it will in a second. The idea is I'm just creating these like wave shapes, and then we're gonna, I'm gonna add a little shadow. I like adding a little shadow to these to give them some more texture. Let's see which ones. Just to the REM and the deep. I'll go like -3, so it's a top shadow. So top shadows and bottom shadows you can control with negatives and positives, and make it a little darker, like that. So you got some cool little texture going on. And this one too, let's give it a little shadow. And that should be good. So now, the idea of this now is to like have an animation that like kind of masks in. So I'm gonna do a mask. So I'm gonna copy the back circle, and I'm just gonna paste it over everything. And then I should have everything kind of laid out in layers pretty evenly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select all of them with the shape I wanna mask with on top. And then Shift Command M, and I have a little thing right there. So that's kind of like the waves of my sleep. These are a little dark, so let me take these down a little bit. Okay, that one's better. That's fine. Okay, so the other thing is knowing that like I want to have like a total hours, because it's pretty abstract, and I do caution like sometimes abstraction can get a little out of hand. So just like, I just wanted to show you like in comparison, like this graph, it really doesn't tell me anything. Like, I don't know what that says. So I wanted to put that in just like have as a pattern, but like be mindful of like, what does all this stuff mean? Like, I don't know what HR dip is. Like, you know, some of those things, a heart rate dip, okay, that I do. But like some things are like, you wanna be mindful of like, what is the right language to use? And so, all right, so total language or total sleep, I wanna have like a subheader, and I wanna be able to just kind of know like how much sleep I'm getting like off the bat. So this one's gonna be right aligned, and I'm gonna say like 8 hour, all right, 8 hours and let's see, 10 minutes. Like, ideal, right? That's the ideal sleep. So these are a little big, so I'm gonna make them a little smaller. 12 is good. All right, and give also the spacing and the padding, so I can just kind of do a quick ruler here. I want to do like 14 by 14, so it's all, you know, looks nice. Bam, bam. Okay, so now all of these Apple Watches have like a pagination. So go ahead and like make one. I just made one really quickly because it's going to be pretty standard. And these things are actually, they're fixed. So we want to make sure they're fixed if we're doing any scrolling. And this little header too, we're going to fix that as well. So fix positioning. That way when we make this a little longer, we can actually then scroll down. All right, so that's starting to look like something. What we're gonna do now is we wanna see this in more detail below. So I wanna add to the width of the height, and I wanna do like the same size. So this is something that I'm not sure if most of you know, but you can do math in XD. So if I take 224, which is the height, and I'm over here, and I say 224 times 2, I have automatically doubled my artboard, and I keep my this guy, what's it called? Viewport. The viewport is still the same. And now I'm able to, like this carries over, so if I prototype this, like you'll see that it scrolls, and see that I have that in the front, so I need to shift that to the back. Because there is something to note about layer, just your layer layout. And it's based on like an index, right? So you wanna make sure that your header is in the top. You wanna have it floating over. So yeah, the viewport height. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, so was it Jen? Like you're having a little conversation about how you kind of see these abstract like graphs, right? Like I think that's kind of important to like not make them too abstract and give them a little bit of ground. So that's looking cool. All right, so let's give some detail. So that's the other important part is these things are good when you give them more context. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna make it smaller because I'm gonna break this out into 3 different types of data. So you wanna like give context to your data. One is showing like an image, which resonates, and then giving more information. So I say this is like light sleep, right? Like light sleep is the top one because we tend to sleep more lightly. And then the second thing that I want to do is give it like a percentage. So like say 45% I was in that sleep state, and give it a color. And then below that I want to say how many hours. So 3.7 hours maybe. And then make that a little bit bigger like that. That's a good size, I think. Like that. Starting to look like something real here. Look at that. Make this a little bigger too. Yeah, and the math feature. Yeah, I think that's something that, man, because you can do your golden ratio calculations and all that. It's just a really helpful tool. So this looking good. Now I can just kind of take this and I'm just gonna go ahead and use a repeat grid because I know I want to redo this. And who's ever like designed a watch app, like I've actually, this is a very foreign concept, and I was a little hesitant to do this because I actually don't have an Apple Watch. And sometimes it's hard to design something for something that you don't have. But it's also important to challenge yourself to get into that mindset of something that like you're just not familiar with. Because if you work for a company, a lot of times you might not be the target market, so you might not even be using the product. So sometimes it's really important for you to get in the mindset of someone that isn't using that product. So that's where I was doing research and seeing like what is the, like what kind of patterns are normal for Apple Watches. So that's kind of just something to watch out for, right? Like trying to do things even though you're not familiar. Like design an Android. I maybe should have designed an Android interface. I don't know. Okay, so this is looking good. All right, so what I want to do now is just delete the information that I don't need of each one. Oh. So delete that one, delete that one, delete that one. And by the way, I brought my mouse today. This is like one of those rituals things. I have to have like my own stuff to feel comfortable. I don't know about you, like working in like someone else's workstation sometimes feels weird. Okay, so now we have some stuff going on there. Look at that, it's looking good. So there's 2 pages of this, right? Diego, yeah, I don't have a smartwatch. Like I don't even have a watch. Like I think that's something that needs to happen soon too. And I'm gonna do, the challenge today was animation. So let's just jump into that so that way we can finish it to see how we can auto-animate this. We have a mask, and I think what would be really cool is like something happened when you open the app to give you like a micro interaction as soon as you opened it. So this is a really cool feature of the auto-animate, because you could take this. I got this from Howard Pinsky's freebies. It's just a heart that animates really slickly. Like, I think that's cool. And if you go to letsxd.com, you can get this kit that Howard prepared for you. So go get that if you haven't. It's really awesome. Tons of really cool resources that you can reverse engineer. All right, so now what I want to be able to do is just take these and just move them. Really easy. Oh, let's go to the layers so I can make sure to get the right ones. And I'm not naming anything. I recommend doing that because naming is everything. So that way, and you can like change these shapes a little bit more and get like kind of even more fun with some of this animation. Like that. Take this one and just manipulate it more, because when it animates into the next screen, it's gonna do some cool stuff. So that way it's not exactly what what this image is on the right. So if I take this one, I go into prototype mode, wire it up, boom, tap, auto-animate, ease in and out, sure. And I think the time, like make it dramatic, 2 seconds is good. Yeah, ODL, my boy, dude, such a good doc. I love that document. It helps so much. Why reinvent the wheel? So if you have this, you can just tap it, and you have some little animation. I think that looks really cool. It might be a little slow, so let's just go ahead and speed it up to like 0.9, and let's check it out again. And maybe it's like something that you could like have as a timer, so it automatically happens. It just depends on how you want to see it. But okay, so I got auto-animate in. I want to do one more thing because there's 2 pages here, and that's being able to like have this representation of the challenges actually in this. So the first thing I want to do is go to just change this to challenges. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this, and what I want to do is now have like an active. I'm designing in prototype mode. What am I doing? I want to go active, like an active challenge that you're on, and then maybe like total points. All right, and then give this a color. I think the achieved, the state that I want to achieve is deep. So like I'm gonna take this blue and be like, that's what I want to just have a color. And then let's do like a quick like comparison chart, like of what it is that I'm like showing you on that initial screen of like what your friend is and you are doing. So that, boom, and then 175. Okay, and I can actually get rid of these too. All right, so take that, maybe kind of curve those a little bit, give this a color, get rid of the border. I'm not a huge fan of borders, just to just to put that out there. And then say, like you have a friend and you. So me, this is my wife. We're competing. She sleeps a lot better than I do. She like hits the mattress and is out. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Get heading 1, and then I'm winning. So I'm gonna go ahead and make myself the winner and make this like light. Or no, let's make this medium. And I think I want to give it a little bit of a shadow, make it more legible, and then take like total hours of like sleep, and then maybe like bring this graph back and show like, like hers versus mine. I could kind of put a shadow on that too. What do you think? Let's see. Maybe this color is a little too similar. There you go. And then, yeah, so something like that is kind of where I was getting at. I think we could kind of keep adding stuff if we wanted to, but I want to go ahead and just like show you go over some projects in a second. So this is just a quick like screen on what it would look like between you and your competitor, and then you have like I'll put like a little invite so you can invite a new challenge afterwards, because that's kind of the whole purpose, is you want to be able to see what other people are doing in terms of their fitness or their sleep goals, because that's how you'd get points. That's something that we could determine later if we add more features. And then maybe like just quick, like there's like 3 days left in this challenge. And I found it interesting that Watch uses a lot of capital. They use like case sensitive stuff. So like, or capital is a lot, and I'm just like not used to that. So it's something that I found interesting. All right, and then maybe just one more little thing that is, let's see, and invite friends. Maybe you can like have a call to action there, and this is gonna be like gray. All right, I think it looks good. And then, oh, you wanna bring that pagination back? All right, but oh, there's a plugin I want to show. I'm not going to be able to do Stark because I don't think I'll have time because I wanted to review some work. But there is a really cool plugin. If you have things that are like, I wish this was over here, and you didn't want to like switch things, you can go to Toolkit, and you can find plugins by going to the just a showcase there. But then you can swap any 2 items, and look at that, just swaps them, like really, really easy. I just thought that's really cool, a really cool thing to show. But it looks like the shadows didn't swap. There's no shadow on this one. Weird. Okay, let's just 3, 3. Okay, so let's go there. That's weird. There it is. 3, 3, make it darker. Okay. All right, let's see how this looks. We got, sorry if it's kind of small. This is a watch. There you go. And then we can scroll up. Oh, and then we need to be able to like prototype this to connect to this. All right, Auto-Animate, sure. Let's see, boom. Go like that. And then, yeah, and then we have that page. And you can make this like expanded too. You can change it up a little bit. I might make some like quick tweaks before I submit this to Behance, but that's the project. And I really just can't wait to see what people are doing with this concept, and like how you perceive like what you want to be able to if you can push this more and show different aspects of the challenge, that would be amazing. So let's go really quickly into Discord and check out some of your work. We have little time, but I did see some really great stuff. Like, I love the iterations of my work that with like some new visuals. People put in their own flavor, like put in the weather highlighted, because some things are more important to others. I thought this was a fantastic iteration on the air quality monitor, just really, really clean, using some more of that like neomorphic look that people were doing, kind of like the evolution of skeuomorphism. I see a lot of that's becoming like a big trend, which I don't mind. It's really cool to see people push it. But like there's one that I really thought was cool. Like this one's awesome. I like the texture of it. So just keep submitting. I'm gonna go back in and make some more comments on the work. And Colby, thanks for being here. Richard, thanks for being here. Everybody, really great work that you've been contributing. I can't wait to see you back here on Monday for day 6 of our challenge, but where we're gonna push these designs a little bit further. So come back. We're gonna reiterate all our designs and push things further. So thank you. Have a great weekend. Please stay safe and design with me on Monday. Have a good one.